Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers in Islam, and welcome back to the second portion of the husn al-dhann billah, the positive thoughts about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We talked last week and we put the paved the 3-3. We're going to just go through a quick summary of what happened last week, and then we talk about the principles with the fruit and when do you actually have of it, and what is also what we have to, how to attain it. So beginning of that, we say Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa sallam. First of all, we thank you again for bringing this portion of Allah to your family, to your homes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, protect you, bring your family health and wealth, Ya Rabb, protect them, ameen. So husn al-dhann billah, the scholars say the first thing you have to do is you have to know that Allah qadir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable, Allah is able to do anything. Because without this, we won't have a foundation, because we know that we have mercy upon one another. The second portion, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Rahmati wasi'at kulla shay. Sabaqat rahmati ghadabi. My mercy encompasses all. My mercy is greater than all. My mercy precedes our anger. But we can do the first portion we cannot do it without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the foundation of it, and this is a summary of the khutbah as I mentioned yesterday, inshallah. Understanding that fact, my brothers and sisters, that Allah is able to do anything, alleviate everything. So we have to think on the positive mental attitude. I just posted something on Facebook this morning, and it was exactly that about that. Assalamu alaikum, brother Naeem. May Allah bless you, inshallah. So the foundation of this, brothers and sisters, is simple. We have to think whether are we on the camp of Musa alayhi salam or the camp of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The simple fact is that Musa alayhi salam, when he was talking to Banu Israel, because their iman was weak, their faith was weak, he says when the ocean was in front of him and the army of Fir'aun was right behind him, he says, Inna ma'iya rabbi sahdeen. With me, so he says something tangible, that I am here. Like you don't have to worry about it, I am here. So make sure you understand this, that aj'al lana ilah, make ilah for us, because we want to see it. But if you have strong faith, you believe in the unseen, the unknown. So Musa alayhi salam was talking to the group that he knew that he had to speak their language. So he says, Inna ma'iya, sir, here, I am with you, right here. Rabbi, he says, my Lord. He didn't say Ilahi. Ilahi is the one that you worship. When the one you worship without seeing, that's a strong faith. But when you say Rabbi, is the one that provides, sustains, something that's tangible you can relate to. So first lesson learned here, that when Prophet Muhammad was talking to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, that means what? The best of creation, which is Prophet Muhammad was talking to the best of creation after prophets and messengers, which is Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anh. He was talking to him in faith, in the language he can understand. He says, Inna Allah ma'ana. First he says Allah. He says Allah, Lord, the one that we believe in, the unseen, the worship. So since your iman is strong, your faith is strong, you don't have to worry about everything else except that. It says Ma'i, ma'ana, la tahzan, don't be sad. Inna Allah ma'ana. Indeed Allah is with us. So what do you think? What do you think? ما ظنك باثنين ثالثهم الله. What do you think of two? The third is Allah. So if Allah is with you, who can be against you? But if Allah is not with you, who can be helping you? And that's the most important part of this. We have to have positive thoughts of Allah no matter what we do. So if all the doors are closed in front of you, the only one that can open the door for you is Allah. If your back is against the wall, you have to run back to Allah. If everything else is so difficult, you're afraid of losing your job, your health, your wealth, your family, your friend, everything else, you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already decreed a matter. 120 days in the womb of your mother, without even going anywhere. That lifespan is guaranteed. Your sustenance is guaranteed. The scholars say the best two things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guaranteed for you is the two things that we worry about most. Our life and our sustenance. So we don't have to worry about it anymore. That's a big favor for us. So now, how to use this? First of all, the scholars say, at the time of death, when Prophet Muhammad was visiting a man, how do you find it? Abul Hassan. He says, how do you find Allah? He was he says he was leaning forward with his nodding with his head, meaning he thinks positive. He says he kept doing this with a smile till he died. And the man after this, Prophet Muhammad was visiting him, he says, but tahur meaning purification of the sins, as if you're going through difficulties. He says, but I don't see tahur here, I see qabur, I see the grave. So he says, فهي كما قلت. Prophet says, as if you said. So if you think Allah will give you the cure, Allah will cure you from the illness, Allah will cure you from the illness. But if you think Allah will not cure you and this is your death, Allah, that's exactly what you think of Allah. So you have to, أَنَا عُنْدْ حِسْنَ ظَنِّي عَبْدِي بِي. I am what my slave thinks of me. And Prophet Muhammad says, لَا يَمُوتَنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ إِلَّا وَيُحْسِنْ بِاللَّهِ الظَّنِّ. Don't ever be in a state of death or die except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to be positive thoughts of you. So last one and the third in this category, where Prophet Muhammad was visiting a man. He says, كَيْفَ تَجْلُ? How do you find this death? how do you feel? He says, إني أرجو الله وأخاف ذنوبي. I have long hopes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I feel that He is merciful upon me. I long for His Jannah and His mercy, but I fear my sins. He says, لا يجتمع في هذا الموطن على عبد إلا أعطاه الله ما رجا ومنعه الله مما خاف. Those two characteristics will not come with a human being in this specific time except when Allah gives him what he hopes for, protects him what he fears of. That means the hope of Allah is there, the Jannah is there, and what you fear, your sins and the wrath of Allah and the hellfire, is protected. Amazing, wallahi. And the second part, my brothers and sisters, you have to have in the difficulties. Look, when Prophet Muhammad had a 10,000 army strong in front of him, and only 300 behind him in the trench, and everybody was running around, having stones on their body, they haven't eaten, they haven't even prayed, they're running, fearing for their lives. And when he struck a rock, he says, Abshiru, good news, we're gonna conquer Sana'a, conquer Sham. Subhanallah, how do you do that in that specific time? Even when Suraqa ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, when he was running after Prophet Muhammad for the bounty, when they were ousted from Mecca, running to Medina, he says, كيف بك يا سراقة? How do you feel, Suraqa, when you're wearing Suwaray Kisra, the jewelry of Kisra? This is one of the biggest empires, biggest powers on earth. How do you feel that way? You have to have positive thoughts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, at the time of the dain, when you have debt, this is Zubayr ibn al-Awam, Inna Sahih, he's talking to his son, Abdullah ibn Zubayr. He says, if you cannot pay my debt, O my son, ista'in bi mawlai. Seek protection and ask my Mawla, the one that owns me. So he says, who is your Mawla? He says, Allah. Allah is my Mawla. So he says, after this, wallahi, I said, Ya Mawla Zubayr, iqdi anni dayni. His son, Abdullah ibn Zubayr ibn al-Awam radiallahu anh, every time he's in difficulties or every time he's in debt, he says, Ya Mawla Zubayr, oh the Mawla of Zubayr, his father, aqdi anni dayni, pay my debt. Amazing, wallahi. And not only that, my brothers and sisters, when they have in the debt and the difficulties you go through, knowing that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that can alleviate the hardship upon you. Knowing that in the tawbah also, the tawbah winning, even على الثلاثة الذين خلفوا, those three that did not make it in Mu'tah. This is Jaysh al-Usra. It was very difficult, long way, summer, heat, sun. They have nothing to give. And even they didn't go, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him بِحُسْنِ الظن. Said, ظَنُّوا أَن لَا مَلْجَأَ مِنَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا إِلَيْهِ. The only thing that we can only come back to Allah, then run back to Allah, run to Allah. فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ, not فِرُّوا مِنَ اللَّهِ. Says, you run back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Amazing, wallahi. Okay, so the brother is saying that portion of the Umar when feared that will happen to death. Okay, I'll come back to you inshallah, but I haven't read the whole thing yet. But this is when the Thalatha, including Ka'b ibn Malik, and it's a beautiful story in the Tawbah. And I don't have time to go through it today, but inshallah maybe some other time when we talk about Tawbah specifically. But Husn al-Dhann billah, because they said we have positive thoughts of Allah, that we come back to Him. Don't run away from Him. Run back to Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that. And also understanding when you have any difficulties in the dua, the scholars say at the time of dua you have to husn al-dhann, positive thoughts of Allah. Because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, ud'u wa anta muqim bil ijaba. You have to have positive thoughts when you're doing it. Don't say in shit. When you make dua, supplicate to Allah, don't say irhamni in shit. Forgive me if you wish. That's a trick of shaitan, brothers and sisters. You are certain that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. But here's a catch. This is what I'm going to leave you with inshallah. The scholars say the difference between husn al-dhann and ghurur is major. Husn al-dhann billah, having positive thoughts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it pushes you to do righteous deeds and obedience of Allah. But ghurur, that you say, Allah is most merciful, so you know what, I can commit sins, I can do anything else, and Allah will forgive me. That is ghurur, that is conceit, that is misconception. So make sure that you understand the difference between the two of them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to do so. And remember, you have a choice to be in the camp of Musa alayhi salam, to be among the Banu Israel. You have to have something tangible. If you think people will help you, you belong to that group. But if you believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you, you belong to the group of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the strong belief inshallah. May Allah make us among them. Let me read the question with Brother Zain. Death, even though that there was one of those given glad tidings that Jannah, jazakumullah khairan. Please, okay. Umar, to be honest with you, I don't recall that part, Umar radiallahu anh. Oh, I see, when Umar, when he was stabbed, he says, yes, but that's, subhanallah. Good point, my brother Zain, jazakallah khairan. Look at the tawadu'. Look at the humbleness of Umar radiallahu anhu. He was given a glad tidings. He was among the 10 mu'ashara mubashara. And even he was stabbed. And that's a shaheed, that's a high martyr. He says, yeah, later, the mother of Umar did not give birth of Umar. Allahu Akbar, ya Shaykh. Ish hadha tawadu'. Look at the humbleness. Because he said, Wallahi, if I have 1 foot in Jannah, this is, Wallahi, I'm getting goosebumps when I'm saying the story because we're so far away, man. May Allah grant us the ability to be strong as Umar, Ya Rabb. Ameen. He says, if I have 1 foot in Jannah, 1 foot outside, and then la aman makrallah. Even Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said the same. He says, if I hear everyone is going to Jannah, and 1 person is not going to Jannah, I'm afraid I'm that person. And if I hear that everybody is going to hellfire, and only 1 person is going to heaven, he says, I would have hope in Allah that I will be the one that is going to Jannah. That is a beautiful combination, but it's only because of Umar's humbleness and humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not boasting about his arrogance and so on and so forth. And the story about him, I talked about one whole portion about him. But understand, even Hudayf ibn al-Yaman radiallahu anhu, Katim Sir Rasulullah, he's the one that held the secret of Rasulullah. Even he knew who the hypocrites were. Umar al-Khattab, when he knew that he was the one that knew who the hypocrites were, because he did not pray in the janazah when the hypocrites died, so he went to Hudayf ibn al-Yaman. That's Umar. He goes to him and he says, please, أستحلفك بالله, I ask you for the sake of Allah, هل سماك لي سماني لك Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, did Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم made me among those who list of hypocrites? Ilahi. What can I say, ya Shaykh? This is Umar ibn Khattab thinking that he is among the hypocrites. What do we think, ya akhi? What do we think, my brothers and sisters? Do we think we have the seal already? I'm in Jannah already, man. I don't have to do anything. I am the most pious man. I have the sincerity. La wallahi. I hope that answers this question, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam. May Allah bless you. Jazakallah khair, Sister Safiya. Wa alaikum salam. Shafia. Okay, so thankum Allah khairan again for making this poor slave of Allah part of your family. We, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unite us and in Jannah like He united here in the dunya. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the husn al-dhann billah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us, because it's a ibadah. The scholar says ibadah according to Tirmidhi. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have faith in Allah that He will always get us out of difficulties, and whatever happens to us is good. عجبا لأمر المؤمن كله له خير. We always repeat that hadith. Everything happens to a true believer is good. May Allah grant us the good of the dunya, the good of the hereafter, and keep us from the fire. Ameen. Wa akhadam alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallam ala alihi wa sahbihi wa tabi'in. Jazakum Allah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.